Hello, mic test. Mic test. Good afternoon, everyone. We are the group. Good afternoon, everyone. We are the group 3, where we are representing the the about the Bunsen burner. So, next. So this afternoon, so nami padula sa para syempre siguro kung karon mga adlaw I mean aron mga orasa katulugon gid ang tanan. So nami mga padula. So ang dula namo kay guess who's the body part. So let's play. So kailangan mo participate mo. So guess who's the body part is this. So Kizaya lambot.
Kizaya.
Lambot akong una nakita. Hello.
Feel ko kailan sa tanan.
Kailan mo na hard club
Alden
na.
Richard. Alden
di-
Richard.
Dili. Sikat ni siya.
Ari si Igagamaw. Tama si Igagamaw, si Sandro. Oh. So, Igagamaw na you have. So, next ka. Who's the body's part is this? So, kinsa man na siya. Puso na siya sa TikTok. So, si Ignacio. Oh,
Si
Ignacio.
Esmir. Esmir.
Esmir. Tama ba? Tama ba, groupmates? Hindi mo siya familiar. Sa kailan ako siya, si Bogart. Oh, tama.
Oo, si Sneer, tama.
Bogart. So, next, guess whose body parts is this? So, kinsa man siya be?
Si Kizaya ulit.
Kinsa to?
Si Kizaya nagtaas.
Sorry, Kizaya on sa man. Kinsa man eh.
K-pop ni.
Ang sa ba? K-pop ba daw? Sino nag-ano nito?
Dili na siya K-pop.
Kinsa na. So, Kagas. So, sa chat. Tagang natutong chan si Kagas.
Liza Soberano.
Si Liza. Kinsa wala na dahil mag-guess. Sa kung kinsa na siya. Na Copa Martin. Clue.
Clue daw.
Sikat na singer and songwriter sa Hollywood.
Asan? Nag-start ang iyahang pangalan sa B, syempre. B.
Si Precious.
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift? Nagsugod ba sa B ang Taylor Swift? So,
Siya'y kanta nga na ay nagawas nga ink sa iyang mata.
walain na lang naon sa iyang ginakaon, char lang. Uy, sorry. Nag-notif ang Shopee.
Si Aubrey.
So, tama si Gagamo. So, si Billie Eilish na siya. Si Billie Eilish. So, next. Kinsa man na siya ba eh. Guess whose body part is this? So, si Kagas.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter? Harry Potter ba?
Sige na yung pangalan niya.
Sure.
Real name lang ginatanggap.
Pangalan
Dito.
niya. Si Lozada. Um, so, tama ba? Tama ba si, ano, si
Oo, tama.
Lazada? Galing. And, so, next naman. Oh, kana. Kamulogin mo, kinsa na. Siyempre, di na mo pwede magkamalian na. Kaya uso na karon. Guess
Yung
who's the body
name lang
part?
nito sa character, sa
Red
movie
light,
mismo.
green light. so, so, oy, tama si, ano, si Precious Diaz, si Yo Jong Kim. Na, dili day, mali day, sa prank. So, mali. Kana, isa na. Muna siya tungkuan.
Atong name lang sa sa movie nila ang dawaton.
Ah, sige, sa main movie. Sa si Aliding. Aliding ang nauna na nakita. Squid Game? Oo eh. Siyempre. Pamandidili. Isa pa man dili nakabaluan ng salida. So, ang tama nga pangalan niya ay tama kay Kukal. Tama ba? Kukal? So, congratulations. Kani, guess whose body parts is this? Kinsa kaya ni? So, anyone? Mike? Mike Enriquez? So, si Finn. So, tama ang sagot ni Abela, si Mike. Sa Stranger Things. Ani, kani mapang malakasan. So, guess whose body part is this? So, kinsa ni? Si... Oh, sorry. Ano? Katawa ko sa... OJ ko sa Cocomelon. Ano? Tama ang answer ni Abela. Si Charmaine. Talaga, Charmaine? Tama ka. Si Coco Martin. Oh. Ano So, sino to na famous TikTokers din to eh. Sila. Lovely. Name niya, name. Dili, ano. So, tama na po si Lozada. So, si Lozada nakakuha ng tama na answer. So, yun lang ang sa games natin kasi magre-report pa kami. Then, our report is about the use of Bunsen burner from group 3. So, I will pass the stage to my fellow group mates. Ay, ako pa dahil. I'm sorry. So, the Bunsen burner parts and functions procedure. Next po ako. Bunsen burner is a laboratory equipment that creates flame for various use. So, para siyang stove para siyang stove kung sa kusina, para siyang stove. So, the parts of Bunsen burner composed of barrel or chimney, collar for adjusting airflow, air control vent, gas adjustment, base, and gas inlet. Gas valve changes the purpose of gas valve changes the volume of gas flow. So, pina-change niya kung gets sa gina-change niya ang flow of gas in a Bunsen burner. So next, the hose carry the gas from the gas source. So without a hose, the Bunsen burner will be useless kasi wala siyang makuha ng gas via the help of the hose. Air intake hose air control vent allows the air to enter the burner. So as we know, combustion takes place with the presence of an oxygen. So without oxygen, we cannot burn. So kaya na meron siyang gas adjustment. So gas adjustment needle valve controls the flow of gas. So sa gas adjustment needle valve is sa part na siya sa Bunsen burner. It controls the flow of gas from the hose. So next, gas inlet connects the Bunsen burner to the gas jet through the rubber gas intake tube. Gas inlet. So yun yung nakakonekta sa hose. So next, the barrel rises the height of the flame for ease of use. So for the use of the barrel for ease use. So next, the collar turned to open and close the air hole to obtain the required flame type. So the use of the collar, kung gusto nimo kung unsang flame type, kung gusto nimo kusog, kung gusto nimo maghinay, mo na ang use sa collar. So next, sa base. So the base holds the burner so that the burner will less likely to topple. So ang use sa burner as a base is para mag-steady ang Bunsen burner. Dili siya kiwi-kiwi o para males ang iyang para dili siya magtumba-tumba. So next, the use of Bunsen burner, how to set up a Bunsen burner. Make sure the gas tap is in the off position. Firmly attach the other end of the rubber tubing to the gas valve tap. So I will pass the stage to my fellow groupmates. Thank you.
So hi guys. So ang part na to kayong create a schematic diagram of the procedure. So ibasahin ko sa inyo how to set up, how to light, and how to turn off the Bunsen burner. And afterwards, may video din. So sa how to set up a Bunsen burner. So first, make sure the gas tap is in the off position. Ang gas tap lang muna ang off, hindi ang gas valve. Firmly attach the other end of the rubber tubing to the gas valve tap. Make sure the air supply valve is closed by rotating it. You may notice another valve at the bottom of the burner. Do not touch this valve. So yung gas valve, magkaiba sa gas tap, guys. So yung gas valve ang hindi nyo i-touch. As this controls how much gas is released into the burner. Ask your teacher to see if you have properly set up the apparatus. Now that you have properly set up your Bunsen burner, the teacher will turn on the main gas tap. Next na. So sa how to light a Bunsen burner. So first, put on safety goggles. So need yan for eye protection. light a match, strike match away from the body. So pag mag-light kayo ng match, dapat away siya sa body, hindi siya near para hindi kayo masunog or what. So turn gas valve on to on position. So dito na part na i-on nyo na yung gas valve. Open air supply valve slightly. So ang pag-open nyo ng gas valve, slightly lang, hindi kayo magmadali na i-diretso nyo on talaga. Kay dyan ma-determine if malakas or mahina yung gas na maglabas. Next, light the burner at the top of the barrel. So dito na yung i-light nyo na yung top ng barrel. Ay, ng burner pala. So next, how to turn off the Bunsen burner. So turn off na ni na part ha. So first, turn gas valve to off position. Di ba yung sa setup, gas top yung i-off. Dito, gas valve na ang i-off. Next, close air supply by screwing it tight. So make sure na tight ang pagka-close nyo ng air supply. Though same lang pag basta dapat tight. Tapos next, clean off the lab bench. So i-clean nyo ang lab bench na gigamit nyo. Okay na. So next guys is effects of air supply on boiling. So first, open the air valve accordingly. I-open nyo na yung Bunsen burner by turning on the air valve. Tapos next, light the Bunsen burner. Place filled beaker on stand and begin timing. As soon as you see when the water starts to boil, rolling boil, stop your timer and record your result. Wait for water to cool off and empty. Fill with new water. Repeat steps 1 to 5. So may video lang kami dyan later para mas maintindihan niyo. Next na. So physical and chemical change. Add cold water to the beaker until it is about 1/3 full and place it on the tripod and gauze. Place a test tube with egg white and a test tube with chocolate in the beaker. Heat the beaker of water with a test tube carefully until the water in the beaker boils. Allow the water to boil gently for about 5 minutes. Watch what happens to the egg white and the chocolate in the tubes while they are being heated. Turn off the Bunsen burner and use the test tube holder to transfer the tubes to the rack to cool. Watch what happens to the egg white and chocolate in the tubes as they cool. Yeah. Okay na. Yan ang video, guys.
May sound yan.
Hindi pa marinig.
Wala. Kindly
Ate, lang po.
sa taas, view options, and then i-click nyo yung share sound.
In this video, we're going to show you how to use a Bunsen burner safely.
Okay na po.
Yes. Sige, go.
In this video, we're going to show you how to use a Bunsen burner safely and how to light a Bunsen burner. First of all, let's talk about safety. You're in the chemistry lab. That means if you've got long hair, you should have that hair tied back. And you should definitely have your goggles on. If you're wearing long sleeves or something that's loose, those sleeves should either be rolled back or pulled back as well. Now let's talk about Bunsen burner safety. To start this process, you'll go and obtain a Bunsen burner and a striker from the cabinets underneath the hoods. When you get your Bunsen burner, you should check a few things first. First, check the hose on the Bunsen burner. You want to double check that the hose is in good shape and that there are no cracks along the hose. There are two valves on this Bunsen burner. The bottom valve is a needle valve that controls the gas inlet. Make sure that that gas valve is closed. The upper valve along the barrel of the Bunsen burner is an air inlet. Make sure that that valve is closed as well. Now let's look at the striker. The striker has a flint that rubs across a stone. When you use the striker, you want to make sure that you're pushing both across and down, and that there should be sparks that fly. Practice this a few times before you actually get ready to light the Bunsen burner. The last thing that you should inspect is the gas inlet valve at the benchtop. The gas valve has two positions, a closed position and an open position. It should be in the closed position to start with. And in this position, the top handle should be perpendicular to the nozzle. To open the gas valve, you would turn the handle so that the handle is parallel to the nozzle. Always make sure that it's open all the way, that it is completely parallel or in line with the nozzle. It should not be open part of the way. To turn off the gas, return the handle back to perpendicular in either direction. Now let's get ready to light the Bunsen burner. Attach the hose from the Bunsen burner to the gas inlet valve and nozzle on the benchtop. Make sure that the hose is on securely. Practice a few times with your striker again just to make sure that you're going to get good sparks. And adjust your Bunsen burner by opening the gas valve about one full turn. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. You also want to open the air inlet valve about one full turn. Now turn on the gas at the benchtop. Again, make sure that it is open all the way. Pick up the striker and light the Bunsen burner. You've now lit the Bunsen burner, but this is a very poor Bunsen burner flame. We need to adjust this flame so that we have a good strong flame that will not blow out if people are walking by. We want the flame to be 2 to 5 inches in height, and it should not be yellow. You should see an outer blue cone and a lighter blue inner cone as well. To make this adjustment, use the air inlet valve on the barrel of the Bunsen burner. Once you have a properly adjusted flame, you should be able to hear it sputtering. This indicates that it's a strong flame with an appropriate air-gas mixture so that it won't blow out if people are walking by. If you want to make the flame larger, use the gas inlet valve at the bottom to increase the amount of gas. You may need to also adjust the air inlet valve to get that good, strong, sputtering flame. When you handle the Bunsen burner once it's lit, you can always handle it from the bottom of the Bunsen burner, either by the hose or from the ring at the bottom. Those areas will stay cool. And finally, when you are done using the Bunsen burner, turn off the Bunsen burner by turning off the gas valve at the bench. Wait for your Bunsen burner to cool, and then close both the air inlet valve and the gas valve before putting it away.
So for the guide question, first, what do I have to do to make sure that I am well protected in this lab? So before you begin any experiment inside a laboratory, you must make sure that your environment is safe and that you are well protected. So some of the important things to remember are: 1, keep volatile and flammable materials away. So always make sure that flammable liquids and combustible materials are not near a lit Bunsen burner to avoid risk of unwanted fires and explosions. Second, you must not leave the Bunsen burner unattended when lit. And third, know the locations of emergency exits in the building. Para in case of fire, you already know where you can exit the laboratory. And lastly, wear protective gears, including lab coat, mask, goggles, and gloves. So second question.
In order
Okay.
to ensure
May
your
pakita
safety
kami na video
inside the
pa.
laboratory, you must wear the following protective gears. First is the laboratory coat, to protect you from direct exposure to dangerous chemicals. Second, a mask, to prevent you from inhaling toxic chemicals or substances and to reduce contamination inside the lab. Third, the goggles, to prevent particulates or chemicals from striking your eyes. And lastly, the gloves, which will also protect you from direct contact with chemicals. Those are the protective gears that you must wear inside a laboratory.
So, face shield lang yung ginamit ko kasi wala kaming goggles sa bahay. So, isipin nyo na lang na goggles yun. So, second na guide question kay, you may have noticed that there are two valves on the Bunsen burner. In the first experiment, you saw the effect the air intake valve had on the boiling rate of water. What would happen to the boiling rate of water if you were to adjust the gas intake valve instead? So if the gas intake valve is adjusted, the boiling rate of water will be constant. Adjusting the gas valve on the Bunsen burner changes the volume of the gas flow. So the more gas entering the burner, the larger the flame will be. In other words, gas flow only affects the height of flame on Bunsen burner and not its temperature. So if ang air intake valve daw ang i-adjust, magkaroon ng mixture of air at gas inside the Bunsen burner, kaya magkaroon ng complete combustion. So ang flame na produce dito kay non-luminous flame which has higher temperature compared kay luminous. Kaya mas mataas ang temperature, gina-increase niya rin ang boiling rate of water. Pero in this question, gas intake valve lang daw yung gina-adjust. So the only thing na gina-regulate mo is yung gas flow. So the greater the gas flow daw, mas mataas yung flame, at pag mababa naman, maliit lang yung flame. So kaya kahit i-increase mo pa yung gas flow, mag-remain pa rin ang temperature niya as luminous flame. Therefore, wala siyang effect sa boiling rate of water. So sa question number 3, merong tatlong sub-questions. Next.
Next slide po.
So the first one, so what will happen to a lit Bunsen burner if all the air in the room was sucked out? So hypothetically, our answer is if all the air in the room was sucked out, a lit Bunsen burner would not generate a flame since one major reaction would not take place. So remember na in order for combustion to take place or occur, kailangan ng oxygen. So if air is not present in the room, wala ring oxygen, kaya walang combustion reaction na mangyari and wala ring flame na ma-produce si Bunsen burner. Second sub-question.
Next slide po.
Okay, for the second sub-question, so the fuel that the Bunsen burner uses comes from the unstable. So marinig na pa ako? Okay,
Yes.
so the fuel that the Bunsen burner uses comes from the main gas valve. Therefore, if the main gas valve was turned off, the Bunsen burner would not produce a flame. So in other words, ang gas daw ang fuel for Bunsen burner. Kaya kahit may air pa sa room pero wala namang gas supply, wala pa ring mag-initiate ng production of flame sa loob ng Bunsen burner. And for the last sub-question, next slide po. Okay, for the last sub-question, what will happen to a lit Bunsen burner if the amount of air in the room doubled? So if the amount of air in the room exceeded the required amount of air for the Bunsen burner to produce a blue flame, the flame may burn inside the burner tube, causing it to strike back or cause explosion. So in short, too much air daw that will mix with gas inside the barrel ng Bunsen burner will blow up the flame. Kaya in most cases, dapat naka-partially open lang talaga yung air hole ng Bunsen burner to prevent the striking back of the flame. So sa next part, which is yung post-lab activity, this will be discussed by Rochella.
So this is effect of air supply on flame. So first, if we would turn off air intake valve in fully closed, the effect of flame would produce a yellow flame called the safety flame. And when we turn the valve in one fourth open, it will also still produce yellow flame with an irregular shape. Ibig sabihin, dili siya, ano with iyang shape, kanang madali siya mahuyop or dali siya mapalong. In one half open, it has a blue flame and at the bottom and yellow flame at the top with irregular shape pa rin, pero still you could see the blue flame already. In 3/4 open naman, the yellow flame started to fade and turn to blue flame with an inner and outer cone, but still its length was a bit long. In this part na pag-open sa valve, ang makita natin na flame is blue na gid siya, pero dili siya kasing small sa length sa open flame o medyo ano pa siya irregular iyahang shape. When we open it fully, it produces a blue roaring flame. It also produced a small length of flame. Ito siya ang pinaka mainit na flame na ginaproduce ng valve natin. The next reporter would be Miss Crisia Lianda.
Hello, marinig ako.
Yes.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, I will be reporting the last
Oo,
part of the
Gina.
activity, which is all about the physical and chemical change. So, before we proceed to the observations of the experiment, let us watch a video first of the experiments, some videos.
Solids can be converted to liquids by merely.
So the first video is an experiment using the sample chocolate.
Solids can be converted to liquids by merely heating them. Thus, heat helps to change the state of matter. Today, we will see the effect of heat on a solid. Here we have a bar of chocolate. We have also prepared a hot water bath. Put the beaker with the chocolate in the hot water bath. Let it melt completely. After some time, the chocolate gains heat and melts. It starts losing its shape. This tells us that solids have a definite shape, while liquids do not have a definite shape. Now remove the beaker. Pour the melted chocolate in a bowl. Keep this bowl in the freezer. After an hour, the chocolate has set and taken the shape of the bowl.
So the next video is an experiment using the sample of egg white. So dito wala akong mahanap na ibang video sa internet. Nag-conduct na lang ako mismo na experiment at saka wala akong mga apparatus. So improvise ko na lang, ginamit ko is electric heater and then stainless steel na bowl. First trinay ko yung glass na bowl, yung clear glass, pero sige ko experiment, nabuak na ako. So, maya na lang wala ko gikasab-an ni mama. So, please watch na lang. So next is proceed tayo sa observations. So here are the observations. We have two samples here, which is the chocolate and the egg white. So let's start with the chocolate. So when the chocolate was put on the boiling water, the chocolate melted. And then after cooling it down, the chocolate hardened. So we can say that this type of change is called physical change because there is no change in the identity of the chocolate, just its form. And then it is reversible because after cooling down the chocolate turned back to its original form, which is solid chocolate bar. And then the next sample is the egg white. So after boiling it in the water, the egg white became cooked egg white or solid egg white, as you can see on the video. And then after cooling it down, the egg white still looked the same. Wala siya nag-change, wala siya nag-turn back to its original form. And then we can say that a chemical change occurred because there is a change in the identity of the egg white. And then it is irreversible because after cooling down the egg white or cooked egg white, it did not change back to its original form, which is the clear or transparent yellowish egg white. So therefore, during the experiment, we conclude that physical and chemical change will occur whenever something is being boiled or cooled down. Then, we should always remember the proper practices whenever we are conducting an experiment to protect and avoid ourselves from any accidents that might happen during the process. So that's all po. Thank you.
Okay, very good reporters. Let's go back first. Let's see if tama yung mga answers ninyo. Though actually tama naman talaga. Let's just discuss them some more. Pabalik doon sa parts of the Bunsen burner, please. The Bunsen burner was discovered by Robert Bunsen when he needed a stable flame for his own investigation. So that's the beginning of the Bunsen burner. Now, the first thing that you have to know about Bunsen burner is syempre the parts of the Bunsen burner. You can see that on the screen. You have here the base. This one holds the Bunsen burner together. And you are allowed to touch this even if naka-on yung Bunsen burner ha, kasi this will remain cool. And kung gusto nyo i-transfer ang Bunsen burner from one place to another. And then you have there the gas inlet. This is where you connect syempre the rubber tubing connecting dito sa ang gas source. As without the gas glass, there will be no flame na mapoproduce. The gas adjustment is just to regulate the flow of gas that will enter the burner and that will react with oxygen to produce the flame. And then you have here the collar. This is used to open and close the air hole. So syempre the air hole kanang buslot sa tunga. That is where the oxygen will enter. Because remember, when you say combustion, when we are producing heat or flame, you need oxygen aside from the gas source natin. And then the body of the Bunsen burner is either called a barrel or a chimney. So dito sa mouth of the Bunsen burner, dito natin makikita si flame, though the example here is a non-luminous flame or a blue flame, which is hotter compared to the yellow one. And if you look at the flame produced by an open air hole, you will see a blue flame na may dalawang cones. The inner cone is hotter compared to the outer cone. So these are again the parts of the Bunsen burner. So please do remember that. Now if you want to adjust the air hole, you just rotate the collar. That will remain also cool even if the Bunsen burner is being turned on. Okay, next. Now, how are you going to manipulate the Bunsen burner? As shown in the video class, you have to make sure, syempre, that the rubber tubing is connected to the gas source. And before turning it on, you have to close also the air hole. Actually, hindi naman siya totally close, at least 3/4 close, so that meron pa rin namang oxygen na papasok and magkakaroon ng flame. Kasi without oxygen, wala talagang flame na mapoproduce. So after closing the air hole, syempre you have to turn on the gas source. The gas can be anything na ginagamit din natin when we are cooking. It can be butane or other carbon-containing gases. And then, syempre we have to light it either using a matchstick or a lighter. And once the flame is being produced in the mouth of the chimney, that's the time you will be opening the air hole. You just adjust the color to produce the non-luminous flame, because the yellow flame is just for safety purposes and we cannot really use it for boiling kasi ang temperature niya is mababa compared to the blue one. So that's how you operate the Bunsen burner. If you want to turn it off, you just have to close the collar again and then turn off the gas source. And syempre, once the Bunsen burner is already cool, then that's the time you clean it off. You clean off the bench. Okay, so that's the manipulation of the Bunsen burner. Next. Okay, so for the effect of air supply on boiling, since we were not able to do this kasi we are not permitted to go to school pa, just remember class na if you open the air hole, you will have a lot of oxygen. You will be producing a non-luminous flame and it's hotter and it will increase the rate of boiling. But if you are going to close the air hole, and that will limit the amount of oxygen, we will have a yellow flame, and that will also decrease the boiling. Whatever we are boiling class, either water or other chemical substance. So yun lang yung dapat niyong tandaan to summarize everything. Next, you can ask question if you want to ask something. So this one is for the physical and chemical change. Later we'll talk about this. Next na lang muna. Next, ayan. So what do I have to do to make sure that I am well protected in this lab? This is true not just for the manipulation of Bunsen burner. You have to have your PPEs or proper protective equipment. I guess Ira has demonstrated that a while ago. Except doon sa part na ano ito magagamit, Ira? Ano yan? Face shield? Yeah, kasi though ingato man gihapon, medyo ingato gihapon ang nawong sa goggles, pero it's a bit different. It has to be close. That is to protect your eyes. So the rest, tama naman yun. Your lab gown, your head cap, your did you use head cap? Wala, no? Wala to head cap.
Wala po, ma.
Yeah, the head cap, especially for girls, since we have long hair, we really have to tie our hair and use a bouffant cap or a head cap to prevent our hair from reacting or matuslo na ni siya sa mga chemicals nato, no? Or aside from that, if we are using Bunsen burner, bising masunog pa ang ato ang buhok. Okay, and our laboratories in school actually have 2 doors. Ano gina siya? Standard gina siya. We have 2 doors for exit, especially if merong mga explosions or other kinds of accidents. And if you're going to do another thing, you are done with your experiment, you really have to turn off the Bunsen burner. Don't leave that unattended na naka-on pa. And my experience in the laboratory, meron tayong mga cases dati na they were not able to identify that the chemical is flammable. So merong mga cases na biglang may nasusunog inside the laboratory. Even in my college days, meron pang meron pang teacher na nasunog because again of the flammable material. So you have to identify class which chemical is flammable or not, and syempre you have to keep that away from the Bunsen burner to avoid flame, to avoid fire inside the laboratory. Next. So, yung two valves in the Bunsen burner, I have already discussed with you about the air hole and the effect of that, especially in the boiling rate. But if you have to adjust the gas intake, if you have too much gas, or like example, the butane, if you have too much of that, that will actually increase the size of the flame. That is the effect. I mean, that will be the result if you are going to increase more gas that will react with oxygen. The size of the flame will get larger. Okay, next. What's next? So what will happen if what will happen to the Bunsen burner if the first one, syempre kung wala na talagang air, especially sa room, there will no be combustion, walang flame na mapoproduce. So always go back to our chemical equation sa combustion, your gas source plus your oxygen. Without oxygen, there will be no flame, carbon dioxide, and even water. Next. And then if the main gas valve is turned off, so just like this, we will have no flame also. Because for the combustion to be completed, kailangan din tayo ng gas source. Ito yung fuel natin for the flame. So kahit isa lang, gas man yan or oxygen, pag may isang nawala, walang flame talaga na mapoproduce. And lastly, I think this will be the last for this question. Amount of air in room is doubled. If we have too much air, I mean, if we have enough air, we will have a complete combustion. So walang soot na mapoproduce, walang extra carbon. But if hindi lang talaga siya enough, more than that, our problem now is even inside the chimney, there will be flame. So pwede siyang bumalik inside sa loob yung flame, and actually may mga instances na lalabas siya even the air hole. So yun yung problem if we have too much oxygen. So ang iba niyan, kung malaki na talaga, marami na talagang oxygen, pwedeng mag-cause ng explosion. So we have to be careful also in handling our Bunsen burner na enough lang yung flame na enough lang na oxygen yung ating ipapa-react with our gas source para hindi siya bumalik inside the barrel. Okay, next. And effect of air supply. So I think ito, report ito ni Graciela, no? We have fully closed. Syempre, if fully closed class, kung naka-on na yung Bunsen burner mo kasi, you will still have the flame, pero it will be a yellow flame. So this is correct. And we call that luminous flame or the safety flame. We don't really use that in laboratory, boiling, or heating because this has lower temperature, but this is just for safety. So kung mag-turn on ka ng Bunsen burner mo, if i-open mo siya 1/4, you will still have the yellow flame and it is unstable. So that's what it means there with the irregular shape. It is unstable, it constantly moves. So yun yung mangyayari sa flame. And actually, as you open the air hole, lumiliit yung flame class. Kung close, masyadong tall yung flame natin. Tall ha, mataas. And then pag i-open mo siya 1/4, mababawasan yung size niya. And especially kung 1/2 open na siya, mababawasan pa talaga yung size ng flame natin, and at the same time from yellow, it will actually become blue. Okay? However, this is not yet also that stable na flame, and sa taas niyan, meron yan siyang yellow flame na part. So I will show you a video later about this. And kung 3/4 open naman, syempre, most likely mawawala na yung, kung meron mang yellow flame, konti na lang talaga yung matitira. Pag i-fully open mo na siya, ito na talaga yung tinatawag natin na non-luminous flame. You cannot see any yellow flame here. And the size of the flame will actually decrease. So liliit yung flame nito, pero you will see 2 cones. So yung sinabi ko kanina, the inner cone and the outer cone. So tatapusin na lang natin ito before the video. Next na lang doon sa physical and chemical change. Though the report is actually commendable because may pinakita na video, no, and these are all correct. No, even if we don't have the video, I believe we know what will happen to chocolate and egg white if we subject them to heating. So syempre the chocolate will melt, but after that, if i-cool mo siya, it will solidify. And that is only a physical change because it is still chocolate. So no new substance is formed, only the appearance, only the form, and it is reversible. So pwede mo siyang mabalik into the melted appearance or melted form, or pwede mo siyang i-solidify again. However, that is not true for the egg white because it will be cooked when you subject that for heating. So it will solidify also from liquid. It will solidify, but after cooling, you will not get the original form. It will still be solid. Thus, it is a chemical change. So irreversible siya. So I think this one is the end, no, of the report. Meron bang okay na ba yung conclusion? Okay na yun? Okay na ito, no?
Okay na po.
That's the